Hello, and welcome to this podcast, the design of module content for e-learning practice. Here we'll look at the considerations one must make when setting out to design a module embracing e-learning. I'm David Jennings, a lecturer in educational technology at UCD Teaching and Learning. Let's take a brief look at what we'll cover in this session. A short introduction to basic pedagogy, what choice of models we may choose for implementation, how educational theory supports this, what technology to use and when, making it learner-centric, and finally, providing a clear and known pathway to aid the development and implementation of an e-learning intervention. And to the outcomes. By the end of this session, you'll be able to analyze and evaluate some models of instructional design and apply an appropriate framework for the creation of your e-learning modules. When considering any program or module design, it is essential we take stock of a few core principles and ground our work to enable due process with regard to both learner and teacher interactions. The 7 steps for effective practice of Chickering and Gamson offer a framework that one might use to bed in any learning or e-learning interventions. At its core are the opportunities provided for learning, whether by peer interaction, self-direction, or via direct communication with faculty. Biggs and Moore offer another variation, this time with a focus on the curriculum design element, promoting a clear pathway to constructing new knowledge through one's interactions with the learning materials and others. Let's move to the choice of model of delivery. More often than not, most faculty are working from a traditional campus-based locale, so the choice is already coloured in some way by the presence of our learners, in a physical sense. Nonetheless, we may choose to offer a number of scenarios. Each will have an impact on resources required for development, implementation, management, and sustainability. Inevitably, the question arises, what can I actually do, and what supports are available to me in this endeavour? Let's address those models present. The supplementary implies the onus remains on a traditional face-to-face interaction with only resources available online, perhaps via the institutional virtual learning environment, such as course descriptors, module outcomes, timetables, reading lists, etc. The hybrid or blended model takes this further and enables the learner to engage via discussion boards, group projects, reflect via the use of blogs and learning units, and even assess formatively by use of online submissions, quizzes and exercises, all while still attending face-to-face sessions. The nature of work online may mean that these sessions take on a different, more focused rationale. And the core model eliminates the need for any face-to-face contact whatsoever and provides a wholly immersive experience online from start to finish. Finally, we have to consider a number of new models becoming more prevalent. Those that capitalize on mobile technologies, the ever-increasing possibilities of tailoring or personalizing offerings to suit individuals that the semantic web brings, and the ability to explore new worlds and experiences within computer-simulated realities. Stepping back for a moment, we have noted a number of fundamental changes in practice and indeed the theory in vogue within the recent decades. In reality, like many educational offerings, nothing may ever fall firmly within one particular remit or category. However, it is important to note that these paradigm shifts and relate them to our own teaching and learning practice. Where once the focus was upon the end-of-year examination, now we see multiple options for assessment and the possibility of aggregated coursework or portfolios being accrued throughout a learner's journey. And in line with many a call for graduate attributes, we now see a move from competitive learning options and summative assignments to one of collaboration and focus on teamwork and problem solving. All of which must inform our decisions moving forward. It is those paradigm shifts that are clearly reflected in the choice of one's framework theory. Identifying and choosing elements of such to apply to one's practice is crucial in making certain that the curriculum design is bedded down in a solid grounding, that it's not just something we threw together with some seed funding, but that it is a robust interpretation and application of genuine theory that's been tried and tested. So whether we build in scaffolding opportunities, participation and dialogue, or merely take note of the potentiality of different learners, all must bear presence on what it is we choose to do. A quick glance at the following slide may prove somewhat bewildering, but in amongst these technological offerings and practices are a vast array of opportunities. The question is, which do I choose? Followed closely by how does it work, how much is it, and perhaps most importantly, can and will our IT departments support us? Combining our pedagogy, delivery, and theory together, we now wish to deploy a student-centered approach. Capitalizing on social benefits through interactions with peers and tutors, offering individualization so that learning may be more targeted, enabling opportunities to reflect, building knowledge and utilizing prior experience, provision of greater flexibility to the learning materials, and enabling modules to be studied at the learner's own pace. Always offering multiple opportunities to ask questions and the potential provision of immediate feedback. Designing assessments grounded in the work of the module, drawing on both practice, experience, and collaboration. And finally, it must promote cooperative and collaborative engagement throughout. We now need to clarify how and where our new offering may fit within the current curriculum. TUI provides a taxonomy of model designs that will enable the identification of our current offerings and relate them to what it is we propose to develop. Once again, there's no right or wrong answer or choice. Disciplinary requirements may dictate the design currently in use. However, in moving towards an e-learning module, we may wish to push the boundaries of student engagement in answering a particular need, or perhaps simply to bed it down in a particular framework. Focusing for a moment on module design, regardless of e-learning, one needs to be clear about what it is they are providing and working towards. These 7 steps are at the very core of any and every module, and treated as a series of queries, one must be able to provide a clear and succinct answer or pathway to each. In an outcomes-based system, it is essential to clarify the purpose of the session, module, or program, and specify how learners demonstrate their learning via purposeful assessment. One way of achieving this is to implement constructive alignment. Clear and realistic outcomes provide learners with a good guide of what's required to be learnt, and how this may be achieved through suitable learning opportunities. It provides the lecturer with a direct guide and/or framework of how one may deliver and teach the program. So, we've explored the delivery options, theory, student needs, and curriculum design. A question remains unasked. Why would we want to provide an e-learning module in the first instance? The key to this is twofold, but each is prompted by the same provision: response to need. Whether there is a new market or a geographically dispersed cohort to reach, there is a reason to transform what we have to provide the necessary access and learning opportunities. Or whether we need to overcome a dilemma or problem in our current face-to-face offerings, there is an opportunity to offer an alternative or supportive means to bridge these issues. And so to the application of instructional design theory. Many of us will already be familiar with many secular interventions to curriculum design to support the development. The ADDIE model merely reinforces that and offers clear instructional aids at each phase. So, the analysis phase prompts us to look at what's going on and act in response to need. The design phase enables us to map out what's going to occur and identify the media we may require. The development phase prompts us to build those resources we may use. The implementation phase puts everything into the actual current practice that we have. And finally, an evaluation phase looks at the interventions we've created, takes account of student feedback, and possibly enables us to redo the cycle again for a second iteration. So to conclude, transformation is the key word. This requires faculty, schools, colleges and institutions to reflect upon their current offerings, to tease out what may be done differently or better, but attaching any change to a purpose, one that answers a real need. Then the ability to adapt and reimagine how the learner and faculty engage is wide open for exploration. In saying all of this, supports are often thin on the ground, and it often falls to the lone academic to try something new. So, start simply, use technology you're familiar with, respond to need of our learners, and build it over time. The full reference list and slides are available online. Thank you.